What's up, YouTube? Knife's Edge here again. Got another quick little review for you of a pretty cool knife. This is another knife from Mr. Eddie's collection, so big shout out to Mr. Eddie. Thank you very much, Mr. Eddie, for sending this one along, as well as some pretty awesome knives. Been kind of doing like a little grail week this week, so check out some of my other videos that I put out this week. All of them are pretty much awesome knives, so thank you again, Mr. Eddie, and y'all go check him out, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. He's out there. Pretty awesome dude, and thanks to everyone that has sent me knives to check out and review, and thanks to people like Mr. Eddie that I can keep going and keep reviewing knives, so really appreciate that. And also thanks to all my channel members, Patreon members, subscribers, everyone. Really appreciate it. If you're interested in joining the Patreon, it's linked down below. Becoming a channel member, hang out with me in the live streams, listen to me ramble even more. Hit the like button if you like the content, subscribe right down there if you would like some more of this rambling. And without further ado, today we've got the Koenig Knives Arius. Man, what a knife. This thing is insane. It's very sought after, very collectible, high-end, USA made. I guess you would maybe define it as a small batch USA made production. I don't know exactly where the mid-tech production kind of cuts off on the definition. It's kind of blurred by a lot of people. Depends on, I guess, how you define it. So either way, I think this thing is just, it's definitely grail worthy. So we'll go ahead and get into the packaging. Kind of did like a live unboxing with all of Mr. Eddie's knives, so I figured whenever I review them individually, I'll go through like the box and all the packaging you normally get with them. So this is the Koenig Arius, and here is, of course, the certificate of authenticity. Model Arius M390 burnish with PF. Handle smooth titanium generation 4. Date is February 16th, 2022. And that is the certificate of authenticity, along with a pretty nice little pouch and a microfiber cloth that you get along with it. So pretty good packaging there for a pretty super premium knife, I would have to say. So that's the box. Wanted to just throw that in there. I know it's not an unboxing video, but I did unbox this one on a live stream. So I wanted to kind of get the packaging, kind of showcase some of their awesome packaging as well. So let's go ahead and do like we normally do. With any other non-grill or grill knife, we'll go ahead and do like the overview specs and all that. And then after that, we'll get into my review, I guess you could call it, my final thoughts. Tip of the blade into the handle, you're looking at 8.5 inches, right at 8.5 inches on the dot. Total blade length, you're looking at 3 3/4. If you go all the way back to right there where it kind of meets up with that flipper tab. And measuring like this, you are looking at right at 3.5 inches, maybe a hair under 3.5 inches. So definitely what I would call a full-size knife. Thickest part of the spine, blade stock thickness check here. Kind of hard. They got that little swedge right there. I want to go up here. 158.5 thousandths roughly right there. And behind the edge, looking at right around 23 thousandths. Swedges down comparatively thin, I would say. A little over 1/2 inch for the handle thickness on that one. Definitely what I would say is a not only a full-size knife, but a relatively bulky, kind of overbuilt knife almost, but not as much as like let's see, let's get out some of the usual suspects here. We'll do the Cold Steel knives 8010 and the Demco knives 8020.5. I wouldn't say that the Arius is like a beater, or I mean, it could be a beater, I guess. You can do whatever you want with it, but not as super duper overbuilt maybe as the 8010. It is very, very close to the 8010 in overall length, especially when you account for that little part right there that sticks out, whatever you want to call that. So every definition of a full size, almost an XL knife, but not quite. The channel definition, my definition anyway, of knife sizes anyway, and everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's got their own definition of what they would consider full size, mid size, whatever. You got the Ontario Knives Rat Model 1 and the Ontario Knives Rat Model 2 right there. Put the Rat Brothers back up, and last two usual suspects, you got the Spyderco PM2 Spyderco pair of 3. And let's see, do a couple of randoms here. Other USA made knives, although not small batch or morely production knives. That would be the Microtech Stitch and the Microtech MSI. So definitely the Arius is what I would say is a full-size knife. And here's your Hinder XM18. And another Idaho knife. I've got my own Idaho knife, I guess. Chris Reeves knife, Unenzon. And the Koenig Arius is made in Boise, Idaho. So just throwing that out there. This one is considered to be like a poor man's Arius. This is the Kubi Titius, Kubi Titius. This one's an Ultim D2 and blacked out blade there, but kind of similar ergonomic lines for sure. Not exactly the same by any means, but this one runs around 30 bucks. This one runs, while we're on the subject, I guess, in the mid 800s, 700 to 800 bucks, right around that kind of price range. So definitely what I would call a very high-end USA made knife. And last but not least, let's go ahead and do what has become a standard on the channel for size comparisons. There's your DeWalt frame and hammer and your 8-inch USA made crescent wrench. Definitely both of those are a little less expensive than the Arius. Alright, so let's go ahead and get out the scale here. Let's get the flashlight. We'll see whenever we look inside of here. I can channel the flashlight in the right way. It is definitely milled out. Pretty decent amount in there for weight reduction. So I don't know, I would, and I'm guessing, haven't weighed it yet, so I'm guessing probably around 5.5 ounces maybe. I don't know, feels, whoop, hit the camera. Feels substantially, like, I mean, you'll definitely know that you've got a substantial knife in your pocket, I guess, whenever you're carrying this thing, but definitely feels like a, I don't know, I would say kind of like a ZT 0562 if I had to compare it to anything. 4.8 ounces. 4.8 ounces. So let's see let's see how close I am. This might be a little bit embarrassing, but I'm going to do it anyways. Let's see. The ZT 0562, what do we say, 4.8 on that one? 5.4. Not too far off, I guess. A little bit off, of course. Alright, so we'll put the scale up. 4.8 ounces over the ounce and inch ratio, but still not terribly bad. Alright. See how she carries in pocket. Really cool pocket clip on this one. And definitely not deep carry. You know, you've definitely got that little lanyard loop kind of area sticking out there. And a pretty good amount sticking up. You know, I would say relatively shallow carry if you consider it that. But it carries pretty smooth in pocket. It definitely handles really, really nice in pocket. No issues with the way it feels in pocket, especially if you're wearing like work jeans or something like that. So let's go ahead and do the hardware check. Get out my handy dandy Weehaw driver here. Let's check out the pivot. That is a T8. Alright, the lock bar insert. Over travel for the lock bar there. That is a T8. T8 on the body screws, and I'm assuming that the clip screws are probably T8, but they're inside, and I don't have Mr. Eddie's permission to take this one apart, so I'm not going to do it. But T8 all the way around with a single-sided captive pivot, not just a circle. Pretty unique looking. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, no issues there. Just a beautiful action on this thing. We'll go ahead and get into action, performance, whatever you want to call it. But look at that. Just awesome. Buttery smooth, man. It kind of uses the weight of the blade itself to drop in on itself. Pretty cool. Reverse flick, obviously, pretty awesome. Flipper tab. I can't fail this thing. I've tried to fail it a couple of times. I can't fail it. I really can't. So you'd have to be like trying really hard to fail this thing. I think that's just awesome. Flicks out great, reverse flick, and the flipper tab there. As far as the blade goes, no billboarding at all. Look at that beautiful grind on this thing. That is just gorgeous. Koenig right there on the blade. A little bit billboarding, I guess, but I mean, do you blame them? If I made something as awesome is this, I would want my name all over it. So that's pretty cool. A lot of cool little details. That step milling kind of right there on the inside where that clip lands at. Here is another pretty cool detail. Let me get my flashlight back out. So if you look at it, see if I can show it the right way. That says Gen 4. It says Gen 4 B7 in there. A little bit easier to see in real life than it is on the camera. But yeah, Gen 4 B7, so that's Generation 4. Batch number 7. I think that's a pretty cool little touch. You know, they put the window inside the handle and the clip so you can see that. Pretty neat. Nice back spacer. Really, really cool. Really nice jimping on that back spacer. The only thing that I've found about this one I really don't care for as much is this kind of beak sticking out here. That's for lanyard people. That's pretty cool. You know, I mean, if you're a lanyard person, that makes it relatively easy to attach a lanyard to it. Again, buttery smooth action, M390 blade steel on this one, but they do have all kinds of flavors of blade steels on these, so that's pretty neat. Koenig Arius is pretty much a EDC legend. I mean, it's one of the new Trinity, Big Three, whatever you want to call it, I would say. Anyway, that's taken over for Strider and Chris Reeve and some other knives. Now, Chris Reeve and Hinder are also awesome knives, but Hinder runs around $425. This one's almost double the price of a Hinder. And is it worth it? Can you feel the quality of this compared to a Hinder? I think you can. I really do. There's a lot of slight, subtle touches about this one. Everything from that hollow grind to that really subtle kind of harpoon notch right there. If I would quit hitting the camera, that would be awesome. So ergonomically, this thing is just awesome. I feel totally locked in with it in hand like that. No issues whatsoever. Choke up, kind of do a little bit of a trigger pull right there, maybe kind of grip. Not all the way up on it. That's not a finger choil, but it is a sharpening choil. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So if there were two things, if I had to be real nitpicky about this one, it'd be that pointy ass end right there. That could probably kind of been rounded out or something, maybe go away a little bit for me. Other than that, I really can't think of too much to complain about with this knife. It is an extraordinarily high priced knife. This is a high-end, again, high-end USA made knife. I don't know what you would consider this production or mid-tech, but either way, I mean, it is a high-end knife, and it performs as such. All kinds of praise and all kinds of knife of the years and stuff like that have been thrown out there for the Arius, and well deserved, I think. If you look at that, you got some again, that little step milling inside of that little cutout there, jimping there, that's pretty neat. On the flipper tab, all kinds of little touches to this knife that kind of add to the premium feel of it. Everything, including it up to and including, I guess, that little window again. Whenever you look in there, Gen 4 Batch 7. I just thought that was really cool whenever I saw that. Pretty neat. And really neat how they do that kind of a indentation going into the opening hole right there. It is a silhouette knife, I guess you could call it. That's what I'm calling them anyway. A knife that if you totally blacked out the profile of it and put it up in front of someone, that a lot of people could identify this one, if you're into knives anyway, could identify this one as what it is. It's kind of like the Norseman, kind of like the Shaman, just kind of a classic knife profile. So that's pretty cool. And again, that action is buttery smooth. That's awesome. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. These do drop occasionally. I'm actually looking on BladeHQ right now. They don't have any available, but I have seen them drop a few times recently on BladeHQ. So if you go on there, the Koenig website, you could check them out and maybe get one for yourself if you're looking on a drop. Again, thank you, Mr. Eddie. Really appreciate you loaning me this awesome knife. And thank you guys for watching. Hope this video was enjoyable. Hit the like button again. If you like the content, subscribe right down there if you want more of it. And I'll see you guys on the next one.